Welcome back. This is Your Town. I'm Marianne Leffel, the Monterey Peninsula Airport District, Monterey County Business Council co-founder. My second guest today is Mr. Dino, City Manager of Delray Oaks. We're going to talk about what a thriving little municipality we have here in Monterey County. So Dino, welcome.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
So you retire from the Army and you end up City Manager of Delray Oaks. Pretty sweet deal.
Very, very fortunate.
Of course, your hair probably gets a little grayer every day, but
My wife has nothing to do with that. Oh, it's been fantastic. It's been a wonderful experience since leaving uniform, and my time in the city of Monterey was amazing, and I'm really blessed that the mayor and council in Delray Oaks have given me the opportunity to manage that city.
So there are what, about 1,600 people in Delray Oaks?
Yeah,
Is that?
about 1,650.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so I always laugh, and I think a lot of people don't realize that Delray Oaks has 2 Wells Fargos for 1,650 people, and what, 2 Starbucks?
And 2 Starbucks.
And so if you just look at how demographics are done with these big corporations, it always makes me have just a little giggle that you have one at each end of Delray Oaks. You're fully covered.
Yeah,
that's
right.
In both banking and in caffeine. So it's kind of fun.
It is. As our mayor likes to say, we're Monterey's the gateway to Delray Oaks. So we've got both ends of the city covered with Starbucks and banks.
So no, it's great. And there've been a lot of changes in the last few years, but your city really took the lead on cannabis when the legalization came into the forefront. Absolutely.
No, the city was bold and led the way in Monterey County in terms of legalizing and bringing into town a medicinal marijuana dispensary. At the time, very, very controversial and fraught with some risk. And of course, that dispensary on the corner of Fremont and 218 has thrived. No crime whatsoever, and continues to do great business in our town. Since then, as you know, the mayor and council we've revised our cannabis ordinance to allow still for only 1 retail dispensary, but with the advent and legalization of adult use, it allowed that dispensary to start recreational sales, and it also allowed for up to 4 manufacturing permits to be issued and 4 distribution permits to be issued. And we've fortunately been able to recruit several really good businesses in the manufacturing realm to our small town down in the industrial area close to Stone Creek Village there. And Gaiaca Brothers, which is one very interesting entrepreneurial cannabis manufacturing business that deals with the waste product and turns it into mulch for sale. And a second manufacturing business, Integral Innovations, which produces a wide range of manufactured cannabis products, have been thriving, doing very well in the city, again with very little footprint, no crime, and have done very well for our budget.
Probably most people don't even realize they're there, which is good.
Exactly.
It just kind of rolls along. That's what you like.
Perfect.
Roll along and pay those taxes.
Exactly. Of course, taxes are a big issue, and especially in cannabis, it's such a dynamic sector. Delray Oaks the voters passed a 5% cannabis business tax in the November of 2016. Yeah. And so we brought that on board. One of my first actions when I came on in March of 2017 was to implement the tax that the voters had passed. And of course, that 5% cannabis business tax has brought in significant revenues to the city to the tune of about $500,000 last year, and we've estimated it will be closer to $900,000 this fiscal year.
That's amazing.
It really is.
And when I think back at the brink of disaster that Delray Oaks teetered on for several years, as long as I can actually remember, there's always been a question of the fiscal ability of Delray Oaks to survive. I think it's just really phenomenal.
Absolutely. And, my father was a Depression era person, survivor, World War II vet, and he had a certain psyche. And I think that this council has that experience imprinted on them, and they are very fiscally conservative, fiscally minded as it relates to decisions we make in the city. And I appreciate that very, very much. We try to be very frugal with expenditures, and on the revenue side, thanks in no small part to the cannabis tax, but also Measure X, SB 1, and thanks to a booming economy, sales tax and property tax. On the revenue side, we have been able to have significant increases. And recently, at the last city council meeting, the city passed and established the first ever in the history of Delray Oaks a financial reserve of $100,000, which for most cities in this area may seem small, but for Delray Oaks is a real milestone.
Well, I have to commend Delray Oaks and you and your city staff of what, 2?
Right.
I don't think people realize how lean and mean your staff is of 3 people.
I appreciate that. It's a wonderful team. Karen and Kim and I are the non-public safety side of Delray Oaks, and I like to say proudly, pound for pound, you don't get much better for city staffs. Those 2 ladies do everything: accounts receivable, accounts payable, permits, everything. And we aim to keep it that way. We really are focused on not growing the non-public safety side of our staff unless absolutely necessary. In the past, we've had a public works employee. We've gone recently over the last year to contract. We may go back to a public works employee, but that has been part of the city staff in the past. But we'll keep it lean, and the real growth potentially is in the public safety side, on the police, and there's some really exciting potential for collaboration with the airport district. As you know very well, we share a police chief. We share the airport police chief, Jeff Hoyne.
Which has been fiscally very good for both the city of Delray Oaks and for the airport.
Absolutely.
Neither one of us had huge staffs, but you had that hierarchy of a chief and on down. So it really did help both of us.
Exactly. $75,000 per agency in savings per year, and a terrific chief, very capable professional chief of police. And he's done a lot of research and work about the potential of having one police department provide services to both agencies, and the city and the airport district are in discussions about how that might unfold, and it may unfold here in the near future. Should it be approved by the airport board and our city council, we could see savings of hundreds of thousands of dollars per agency in terms of economies of scale and better law enforcement services and better officer safety, professional development. So we're on the cusp of something really exciting should it unfold. At the staff level, we're doing a lot of work, Mike LaPierre and I, and we really look forward to bringing that to our respective boards.
I think it's good, and I think for both the citizens of Delray Oaks, and of course the airport has no residents, so for us it's the matter of the safety of the passengers and of our tenants, because we do have a lot of tenants. But it's really good. If the cars are out and about and the people are out and about, why not, I guess,
Right.
is the question. And for me, it's another thing. I think it's comforting to know that more officers are trained in the safety of the airport, and our officers at the airport also become trained in the things that a general population needs. So I think it's a total win, because when a call comes, it's whoever's the closest that can take care of something, and that's really what we're about.
That's right.
Providing the best safety and service to everybody in the region.
Absolutely. And our two small departments have backed each other up for years. The officers know each other. It's a relationship that I think is ripe.
Kind of organic. It just
really
kind
is. Yeah, it is. This is one of those that it just makes too much sense not to do.
Well, hopefully the little bumps can be worked out, and
Yep.
we can get to something that everybody can live with.
I hope
And
so.
I really think the residents of Delray Oaks win and the airport wins. So
I agree. Certainly from the city perspective, we're very excited about an additional law enforcement capability. As you know, traffic calming has been a significant concern for our residents along Carlton and Portola. So additional police resources will be very welcome there. And I think it'll give us depth both ways, just as you said. So it's pretty exciting.
I love it. So let's talk a little minute. So you don't really have that much retail there, but what you have always appears to be thriving. If you try to get a parking space in either the Safeway parking lot or in the Stone Creek Village parking lot,
Right.
God forbid.
Yes. Well, we're
And
lucky.
it's not about bad planning. It's just about a constriction of space of
Yeah.
how much need there is for both of those entities.
Well, you know, it seems to me that again, it goes back to smart decision making on the parts of city councils, planning commissions, and the city working with various development teams. Stone Creek Village is a real jewel in Delray Oaks. It's well planned. It draws people to a prime location and provides a variety of services. Stone Creek Kitchen is one of my favorite stops for lunch, and it is doing very well. Of course, as we look at our light industrial space behind Stone Creek, the City Council during a strategic planning session established a vision we've shared with the public for input that calls for sort of the establishment of a town center that Delray Oaks really doesn't have right now. And one place that could happen is as an extension of Stone Creek Village into that light industrial space. And so that's one area that we as the staff are looking at. It could be an area of additional collaboration with the airport district, as well as some rezoning and bringing some vibrant businesses down there. And that can connect with how we proceed with our Fort Ord parcel development, in terms of potentially moving some of the businesses that are down in that light industrial area up to the Fort Ord parcel to free up some of that real estate for sort of mixed use development, and the creation of a town center, or as one of our council members likes to call for a beer garden.
Oh, yes. Yes. I hear about the beer garden regularly. But you know, if you live in the Oaks, the name of the
Right.
condominiums, right? If you live in those condominiums, to be able to just wander down and, you know, have a beverage and a light dinner and then
Absolutely.
walk back up, I mean, that's kind of everybody's dream. And I have to say, Delray Oaks, if you look on a map, has about 10 degrees higher temperature than any place else on the peninsula other than Alta Mesa in Monterey. It's like its own little banana belt.
It
there.
is.
And I have a good friend who lives on Carlton, who on a Saturday afternoon we were on the phone chatting, me and my house in Monterey, her and hers. And I said, oh, it's kind of cold and foggy here. And she said, oh my God, it's just heavenly here. I'm on my deck, I'm having my 5 o'clock cocktail. And I laughed and I said, because I can see Delray Oaks from my house, and I said, you have about 20 minutes because the fog is coming. But she had really a lovely Saturday afternoon, and I think I was, in my sweatshirt and the windows closed. So it's kind of funny. It's just, it's interesting, but it really has a very nice climate to encourage outdoor dining and to be able to have more activities.
Absolutely, yeah. It is. It's its own microclimate, and I really didn't believe it until I got there and started working at Delray Oaks. Every time I got in my car, it was hotter than a pistol, and so just getting used to that wonderful sunshine and just beautiful weather, it really does make it attractive. Our residents, Delray Oaks is such a hidden jewel in terms of quality residential living, and I think as we look to development, whether it be on the Fort Ord parcel or modifying our light industrial space, or the addition of recreational trails like Fortag through our city that connects our parks to the National Monument, the quality of life is just really, really amazing.
No, and it's so well located. You can get anywhere on the peninsula so easily. That's the other thing. The accessibility from your home to wherever you're going is pretty phenomenal.
It really is. It really is. Another issue that we've taken on recently is very controversial in other cities: short-term rentals.
So why don't you hold that thought, because we're going to be back in a minute.
Oh, you got it.
And we'll talk about that, and I want to pursue talking about some of the opportunities on the former Fort Ord.
Sure.
Okay? So don't go away. We'll be right back. Mr. Dino Pick, City Manager of Delray Oaks, and myself. See you in a minute. This is Your Town.